today. Let's pray together first. Pray, begin. And pray finish. Dr. Waidah, we actually is Miss Purbandini is here yet?
Okay.
I don't think she is here yet. Okay. So while waiting for Ms. Purbandini to come to our class, I would like to read a little story or a little curriculum vitae from Professor Dr. Waidah Ismail. Wait. Let me find it. Okay, so Associate Professor Dr. Waidah Ismail graduated from the Brunei University in 2011. She currently works at the Faculty of Science and Technology in USIM, or University of Science Islam Malaysia, and also does research in artificial intelligence, optimization, medicine, and data mining. According to her research Gate portal, she has published more than 20 articles focusing on machine learning and artificial intelligence. Maybe for some of us, we have actually also taken part in her guest lecture last year in the June. We were talking about the artificial intelligence too, but today she will explain to us something different, which is user experience in human-computer interaction. So before we start our lecture, is Ms. Purbandini here?
Yeah.
No, maybe we will listen to Ms. Purbandini later, but for now, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Waidah Ismail to present the lecture that we all have been waiting for. Okay, so for Dr. Waidah, time is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Halim. So today my presentation more on the user experience in user-computer interaction. Can you see the slide?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, a little bit background. Maybe some of you know me because of the last year, but I just some people maybe cannot remember. Just I graduated my diploma in computer science in UITM. I'm quite old. I finished my degree. My diploma is 1993. So during that age is around 21. So after that, I continue my study, BSc Honours in Computer Science in Liverpool University in UK. So why I chose Liverpool? Because of the football. Mungkin during that time it's a football. So I went to a football club. So it's quite something different. Although I'm a lady, so we still go for stadiums, everything. And you should go. If you study in UK, you should go to the stadium to see the football. As you got a feeling about that. So after I finished my degree, I'm working for almost 10 years, 11 years. Then I did my master part-time. So it's a bit hard to do a degree while working and doing the master, which I'm not suggested. So whoever want to continue a master, it's better for you to continue the master straight. Then after I finish my master, I'm working as a lecturer. I joined as lecturers. So you can see that my changing life between as a lecturers and totally as an industry and totally as academician. So that's why when I talk also on the machine learning, I always relate the environment, the real environment, because I've been exposed to with industry. So it's a bit, I think it's quite interesting. Also, same thing with this today presentation. I will go back to the industry, what I did research on the industry. So I complete my PhD. So I did my PhD. This is the one, but 11 you seem 2001, 2005 until now. Yes, my area is more on the artificial intelligence, seluruh automata optimization and machine learning. So what is the human-computer interaction? Because I know that you are in the fifth semester, you are good in programming. You are good in programming, you are good in the machine learning, you are good in the AI. But sometimes not only the technical but good, but you need to know what is human-computer interaction. What I mean is why HCI is important, because we are dealing with the human. You are developing something for a human to use. So what is, can you do anything right? This is the one. So when you are trying, for example, for me, I don't like iPhone. I know that most of the young people love iPhone, but for me, I don't like iPhone because when I study in UK, I use iPhone. Then I changed to Samsung. So I'm used to Samsung. So then after that, I try to change to iPhone. I cannot know the features, everything. It takes me sometimes. So the interface is quite important for the user to use. So how people interact with the computers, successful the interface, how the interface of the successful interface. Because if you are a good programmer, but if you want to use, but the user don't want to use your application. So what will happen to your application? So nobody want to use, and how about the profit of the company? Later you are working. So HCI is quite important, how you design it. So users, when you mention about human, you are touching about the users. Who is your user? Who is your target user? Whether your target user is normal or disability. For all my research, is mostly related with disabled people. It's very challenging when you are doing research with disabled people. So you want to have a blind. How the blind want to use the iPhone? So how the blind want to cross the road? Because the HCI is not only on the computer, also the traffic light, the ting. Do you know that when you want to cross the line and the zebra crossing, and you can see that the noise ting, then it's allowed because it's not for us. It's for maybe for the blind people. So that is the HCI is more on the not only the computer but the design. Different users have a different way of learning. Do you see that mouse? Do you need the mouse? That you are using the mouse now? You can see that every year, almost every year or 2 years, the mouse features is changing. And sometimes it's very expensive because you said that the mouse is good for your hand to use it. So that is the technologies. Different ways of learning. Different users have a different way of learning. How about the old people? Is the old people love the iPhone? For me, yeah, I prefer Samsung rather than iPhone. So that is the different users. So when you want to develop something, you have to know your target audience. Who is your target audience? So that is about the user. The computer. Computer refer to a desktop computer or large computer and a computer and the system only. For the computer to website, but the devices refers to. So it's not, although it is ACI, but also impact on the website. And later in the last lecture, the last slide, I will share with you the research that I did on the HCI capturing on the disability on the serious game. So although there is a HCI on the computer about the website, how about the game? You know the Wii, and how the Wii is doing the Wii game. Do you like the game? So sometimes, yeah, sometimes it's a bit happy, it's a bit boring and tired. So same thing like me. I also love playing the game, handphone game. Sometimes it's a bit stressed, I will play the handphone game. Sometimes I'm not sure about the game is famous in UK, Indonesia or not. Something like Clan. there is a fighting, that every night people will attack your castle, everything. So that is the game I play, but sometimes it's a bit boring because of what? Every night people is attack my castle. So I don't want to use it. So that is the, so how is the computer? So computer is not about the computer, about the device also. Like I mentioned earlier, the traffic light, the how the people are playing the game. That is the HCI. What is the meaning? The interaction. The difference between the human and the machine. How the machine to understand the human. HCI to ensure that they are both get on to each other and interact successfully. So design process help to meet the usable system, such as area on the user-centered design, user interface design, and user's experience. So currently, people are not go for a user interface. People are go for the user's experience. How the experience, how the user experience is using your design. So this is the application on the HCI, everyday life. Everyday life thought, although not involve computer, but ATM machine. Do you know that there is a ATM machine every time, every about 10 years ago, the ATM machine is different because when the money is out, it's easy for the people nearby just snatch the money. But currently, with the ATM, there is a pocket to come out the money. So it's quite difficult to everyone to take out the money. So how about the ATM and the railway ticket machine? And sometimes the railway ticket machine also is quite difficult to understand, even in Malaysia also. So this is all the HCI, how's the daily living. So when I went, like just now I thought, when I went to Japan, and there is English, and although without people, I still can use it. You know, the Japanese, there is a language, and but we can translate. You can choose in English. So I will come up with English, and I can still buy a ticket. So the HCI, the railway ticket in Japan is quite good. In UK, first time I'm using, I will call them although in English. So how about the coffee machine? Also. So how about the microwave? Do you think it's quite difficult to use it? Yeah, that is the although it's not involve a computer. So interface is must be safe, useful, and efficient. So this is the application on the HCI on the industry and business. Company using a day-to-day operation. So staff are more content and productive when working with a well-designed usable system. So when you are working in industry, so for me, I'm working in the banking environment. I used to do a banking environment, and I'm a security analyst. So when I'm security analyst, I have to go to the servers. Have you go to the OS servers or Windows, Linux, and also the Unix? So you know that there is a quite difficult to understand. That's mean people are preferring Windows. Windows NT, Windows NT, I think during my time. But people don't want to use Unix because of what? Because of the commands. Same thing on industry. Because if you are in my class in machine learning, I mentioned that in the AI, there is people are using the operational using the AI for a robotic, for example, the car, to do the car, everything. So how the machine, how you want to do the interface to instruct the user to make it. That's mean first time you have to take it, the screw, everything. So that is one. Another part is a flight. Flight. How the pilots is using the flight. You know, if there is if not, you can hear it. You are clear to do whatever. If you don't have a better interface, you know what will happen? There will be an flight accident. Do you know the controller, everything? So HCI is very important. Although you say, oh, I'm a good programmer, I don't care about the HCI. No, you also have to pick up the HCI. HCI. Okay. So the application on the ACI accessibility. How about the disabled people? How to use your application? For example, that you create a website. How about the disabled people want to use it? Your website. So you need to have a sound to make a creative. Do you know that elevator for a disabled people? Do you know that last time the elevator is up, the number? Now they are making the number is lower. Because of what? Because of the wheelchair, easy to press it. Press the number. Yeah. And also the mobile phone. Mobile phone, they have a voice nowadays. So there is one application. Yesterday I went to, I have a training about the AI, woman for AI. It's only for women only. The talk about AI. There is one application named Seeing AI for blind. So I tried to install it. I don't think so they apply on the Samsung, but they are applying the iPhone. You can find it Seeing AI. That's mean they can scan the barcode and tell you what it's all about. So there is another story, Korean story about the startup. Have you, did anyone have seen, is the Korean K-drama is famous in Indonesia? Halim?
Yes, yes. Especially for girls.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure whether but you can see the startup Korean K-drama is totally about the AI. This is the one, Suzy Bay, and this is the grandmother. And if you see the movie, they are developing one application using the iPhone, using the phone to capture the images for the blind people. So that means they tie up the phone to the dog. So because the dog is usually for the friendly, not for Muslim. So they are walking, the dog is walking, that means the dog will capture the images and tell what is this, what is this, what is this. Although there is in the movie, but when I Google it, they already developed it. Somewhere in Japan, I think. That's why I mentioned earlier, Japan technologies is quite good. So you know how the creative, how they want to make the disabled people to see, even they are blind, everything. So do you know that, so nowadays people are more to technology side. Okay, application on the HCI user untrained. So people are untrained, what I mean is the handphone. Do you train people how to use the handphone? Tell me if any one of you is reading the manual of handphone. Nobody, including me. I also did not use this. I also did not read the manual. So user prefers not to read manual. So if you want to develop something, oh, this is the manual, please read first. No, most of the users nowadays is preferring to explore. Even when I teach my student, I give the slide everything, they won't read the slide. They will ask me what to do. You know, they don't want to explore it. So this is the users. So although the student also preferring not to read slide. Every time, that's why I say, okay, please read the slide. Same thing with the handphone. User prefer not to read the manual. Easy for the user, games, mobile phone. So that's why when I mentioned earlier about the iPhone and the Samsung, I prefer the Samsung. How about the TikTok? I never used TikTok before. And I never use. I think nowadays, that means, you know, the gap between the technologies, between the young people and like me. Like, firstly, when I use the Facebook without a manual, I can explore it, Instagram, everything. But the TikTok, I did not explore it. But currently, I know how to use the WhatsApp status. Just this year. So I still did not know how to implement music in the WhatsApp status, but I'm still learning. So that is the technologies, you know, that the difference, the HCI, make it the people how to easy to use. So this is the one application on the HCI technologies, the visual reality, visual reality. Do you know in Malaysia, they already developed one of visual reality for the rehab people, but not everyone disabled people can use. Because of what? Because when they are put in the eyes, some of the rehab people got migraine. They have like a headache. So some people, that's why the HCI is not everyone can capture actually for the disabled. So about the 3D printing, they are the how about the currently a 3D printing, how they printed whether the house and 3D printing actually is one of my colleague is using the 3D printing. They print the mosque, you know, the mosque, masjid, for blind people, because the blind people cannot see the masjid. They don't understand. So the blind people will hold. This is the example of the masjid. This is example of the USIM. So this is the technology of the 3D printing for help to the blind people. Argumentative reality. Do you remember that last time is very famous on the Pokemon? I'm not sure about the Indonesia, but in Malaysia, one of my lecturers, one of our colleague went to drive around 45 minutes to catch the Pokemon. So you know that is the edited, how the Pokemon, how the application is really interesting. How the people are playing the game. So the goal of the HCI are produce a usable on the safe system. Understand the factors. So you have to understand the factors, determine how people use the technologies. So develop tools and techniques to enable building the suitable system. Achieve efficient, effective, and safe interaction. Put people first. So not you as a good programmer, you have to put the user first to understand the user. I think some of you already learned. Did you have learned the software development, how to develop the system? Not yet. But the one of the requirement also, the HCI. So what are the factors? Factor in the HCI, the main factor are listed in the table below. Organization factors. You want to, when you are, what are the factors? That means the organization want to show that they have a training, they have the job design, what are the roles on the organizations. So environmental factors, the noise, the heating, the lighting, ventilation, health and safety factors. So how you want to develop the HCI with all these factors? So the actually it's more creativity. The noise. Do you know that in I don't know, in Malaysia there is if you want to buy the house, you know the house. So because there is a website. It's something like the condominium. This is the condominium built in the forest, nearby to the forest. And the way they show the HCI is very interactive. Sometimes you can see the waterfall, everything also. And sometimes if you on the sound, you can hear the waterfall, everything. So make you interested to buy. You know how the HCI influence the users. So that's the one, the lighting, so HCI also, the users, the connective, motivation, the enjoyment, the satisfaction, the personality, and the experience. Are using, these users, are we as users, are this true to motivate? So that's mean if you have a game, how you want to motivate it? Enjoyment, satisfaction, even my slide is a bit dry. But if I want to put a cartoon just now, yeah, it's big interesting. So that's the one. The personality is different. The experience. So also the comfort of the factors, seating, equipment, and the layout. The layout, what do you mean layout is the layout of the website. How the layout layout of website. Have you tried, if you already go for eBay, Lazada, do you have a Lazada in Indonesia? I think you have, is it? Yeah, Lazada, eBay. Do you like to, I'm not sure about Shopee. No, you don't have Shopee. Shopee, you have?
Yeah, we do have Shopee.
Yes, yes.
So, you know that there is a Shopee, Lazada. Which one did you prefer? Which one is easier for you to use? That's mean they lay out. Also, the Netflix. I love Netflix because the movie is a bit cheaper. I think Indonesia also they have a Netflix, and sometimes they can suggest it to us. You know, do you remember when I touched a little bit about the machine learning? There is a personalized of the movie. So in the website, in the Netflix, they suggest it because when you pick one movie, they suggested this is should be you. So you know where they put the suggestion at the bottom. And also they also put your whatever you miss out. That's me. You have, for example, I love K-drama, so I always I cannot sit down to see all the 18 episodes. So usually I put one episode one day. So they put there is a continuous. So when you open your Netflix, it's easy for you. Oh, you have a continuous. After you finish, oh, they already have a suggested, and they also categorize the whatever is something like cooking, they categorize. If Indonesian movie, they are categorize it. So you know, that means if you are expert in AI, you can personalize it and how you want to show that you're personalized on the layout. That's the layout, the comfort. So user interface, same thing like I mentioned, input the device. You know that last time the notebook, the computer is a big and the small screen. Now the screen is become bigger and bigger. Even you can see movie in the computer screen. So the output device, the printer. Do you know that the printer? I'm not sure. There is a device can scan your notes. Just a small one. Just a small. When you are book, they just scan it. So that's mean the output device, the icon something like shopping chart. So when you see the shopping chart, you know that your item will be there. If the shopping chart is the different, you will find it. Where is your shopping chart? So this is the normal chart that you are familiar. The multimedia, the user support. Yesterday, when I went for a training, the AI was for women, we have exam. So my exam will be scheduled next week. So I want to change the schedule item, but when I went to a user support, I cannot find how to send an email, everything. So end up, I a bit bored, and I said, okay, I just go through the training. You understand? Because the user support is very good supposedly. And one thing when I touch on the machine learning, do you remember the chatbot? I mentioned that the chatbot. So the chatbot, you know that the chatbot, how you want to, where is the chatbot that you're supposed to put? What are the icon? So the icon is something like speaking, the speaking icon. So that is the icon that you should put. And how you train your chatbot is more on the machine learning part, but the design of the chatbot, where to put? Is it something like here? Is it something like you want to put the chatbot something? Wait. Pen. Something like this, is it? Something like this. This is the icon of the chatbot, I think. It's more, yeah. Okay. So this is a system functionality, the hardware, the software, and the application. So once you're working, when you are working, because I've been experienced working for 10 years, when I finish my study, they did not give me the manual. This is Windows NT manual. This is Unix manual. No. So sometimes they only give you the documentation. What are the servers? This server is what? This server is what? So the functionality, sometimes you have to learn it by yourself. So make sure that if you are working in the software and the application maybe is a user friendly. So another part is the productivity factors. So when your HCI is playing a good role to increase your output, increase the quality, decrease the cost, decrease the errors, and increase the innovation. If you want to sell, want to do a website, some of you maybe want to sell a clothes. Like there is a one scarf is quite famous in Malaysia from Indonesia, Allura, Allure. So I don't know whether you have heard of what, but the way they present it, the scarf is really nice. So from that, it will increase the output, increase the quality. So what it means is decrease of the cost. This means it just put in the website and people can use buy it. Even my cousin also buy the scarf from Indonesia. It's really nice and the quality. You know, when you want to sell something in the internet, you want to mention, it's easy for the user to understand. You cannot say that this is the type of polyester or anything. It's something like the scarf from silk. 100% silk or whatever. So people will understand it. So users experience. So we touch about the user experience. So just now is only on the interface. So how the user experience. So it's the real of a person, perception and respond, the result from the use. So it means the result of they are using your products to anticipate use of product, system and service. The quality of interaction of participants has when the interactions with a computer system. An increasing role of our life on the products become more complex because the product is a lot and we become more complex because you want to make sure that your product is good, is something unique. The technology involves a mature and diversity set of users because the users nowadays is you. You are the young people, the users are very creative. They are very smart. You are all the students are smart. So that's mean how you want to make sure that users experience is one of the input of your sales or the design. So this one, user experience is a primary drivers of the competitive advantage in the software today. Program with bad UX just won't sell, nor will the hardware and services they are supposed to enable. So good UX is not that hard, but it requires you to think a new ways. So a good UX is more allow the users to be a creative. Okay, for example, you all as a student, I know that in the chat, student is very hard time. I understand that part because I've been a student for a long time. So I understand that part. So when you are a student, this is time for you to explore it. Because once you're working, you have no time to explore it. That means you have to implement it. So this is the time for you to explore it. My student, because maybe you have a classes around 80 people. Some of you maybe love to be a programmer. Some of you maybe love to be a designer. Maybe some of you people prefer to be a website designer, AI, everything is mixed. But as a degree, you have to learn everything. It's normal. But this is my student who is a background security analyst, but currently she already completed her master in user experience using a qualitative and quantitative. So that means it shows that although you are technical people, you say, I love programming, but you good US is not that too hard, but it requires you to think a new ways. That means it allows you to think more creative. So the characteristics of the UX. So when you mention is user, the user is involved. The user interactions of the product system and really everything about the interface. The user experience is more interest than observe or measure. That means it's more on the interest of the user and observe or measure. Okay, user experience, when you mention about your user experience, it's not just a fonts or colors. You have to know that. So user, what is the difference between UX and user interface? So user interface is mean a decoration. Decoration of function is every last things you do to a piece of software. So that means when you are develop the system, you are using the user interface, make it nicer. Where is the icon? Where is the color part? Where is the font? It's not just font, but the user experience, all aspect of the end user interaction with the company, its service and its product. It means that anything that users see, hear, touch, or things. So usually when you are doing the software, you have to meet the user again. So if I'm a programmer last time, so once I'm working, after I complete my applications, everything, I will go to the user. So the user will have an experience to test your application, whether they like it or not. Sometimes it's simple things. When I say it's only a button, and you say you want to change the button, you know, although it's only a button, but to them it's difficult. So you know that when I working is 10 years ago without the user experience, I only say, oh, this is user interface. No, actually it's the user experience, how they are using your system. Although the button or anything over the color, the logo, sometimes when you are currently also when I have project with industry, they say that I develop the simple color, everything, the student, they said, no, I want the color based on the corporate color. So for example, like blue, they want a blue at least, and the logo, everything. So it shows that the interface represent the company. So this is the one, the difference between the UX and the UI. So UX on the user research, persons, usability on the testing, UI, interaction design, layout, and visual design. So this is the one, the different. That means whatever you do currently is only a user interface, but when the user testing, it will become on the user research, how the user is researched, how the person is capturing, how the usability of the testing. So this is the 5 phase of experience I found in the book. In the 5 phases that I want to share, the surface plan, skeleton plan, structure plan, scope plan, and the strategic plan. This is the 5 phases on the user's experience. So the strategic plan, knowing both that we want the product and accomplish for our organization, what we want it to be accomplished for your user, inform the decision that we have. 2 basic, product objective coming from inside the organization, the user needs, objective imposed on the product from the outside. So when you are working, you're working as a web designer. So you want to say that this is the project objective. Do you want to say this is the objective of the product? No. For example, you want to sell your scarf. This is the product that you want to scarf. But what are the user needs? Is the color, is the design. That means if you want to, do you want to sell a scarf with the already fold? No. You make it the scarf is open that people will see the design. And also, what are the strategic need, the user need, they want to zoom in to the scarf. You know, if you want to buy in the Lazada or shirt, everything, did they allow you to zoom in? They will allow you to zoom in and out, left and right, whether it suit you. You have to think this is the product strategy. So what you see is already how you want to sell your product objective coming inside from the organization. But what are the user need? It's not just, okay, I want to sell a scarf. Okay, just put online. No, it's something like, what are the user required? So usually they already have a market testing, everything. So describe the objective of the product in a very general terms. So if you want to have, if you are a software company, you say that, oh, we are develop accounting system, accounting system that have a debit, credit, all the technical part. Or maybe you said that the company have a staff, have a good developer in the artificial intelligence, which have a cellular automata background optimization. People don't want to know that. People will say that we already developed the personalized of the application on the rehab that being used by the company outside. This is the one that you want to sell it. So fundamentals serve a two purpose: make the company money and serve the company money. So when you are working in industry, this is the thing that your boss will love you, will give you a lot of bonus if you make sure all these things. But if you are working in government, I think I'm not sure about the Indonesia, but our bonus is same thing, is a same to everyone. But when you are working in industry, there will be appraisal. Then if you can propose this thing, the company will love it because you are made the company money. So the brand identification, logos and the color, pixel visual, the brand are important. So what are the brand that you want to come up? Successful metrics indicated that we can track after the product has been launched to see whether it is meeting our own objective and our user need. How much time does the average user spend on our site during each visit? So maybe this is the AI coming. You know, this is the machine learning is coming. So because the machine learning, we all know that, I will touch about the AI also. Machine learning will, for example, that you have around 100 users, but you need to know the average people are using. And also you can monitor it, which site that they will often to go. Like for example, Lazada also. When you go to the Lazada, to buy, for example, I always buy my cat food in Lazada. So they will, below that, they will suggested you what else that you supposed to, or you should buy, and which are the cheapest one. You know, this is the type of the AI coming, and how you spend in one side to another side. That means if the people are spending more time to your website, it shows that people love your website. If people, if like a few minutes, maybe they don't like it, and maybe more, maybe because of they did not understand your website. There is two things. So in this part, user needs to understand who they are and what they need. This is the user needs. Do you know that we are, everything is around us is something like this? It's a mixture. Even you are in the classroom, you have a different background. You know, some are rich, some are normal, some are smart, some are a bit difficult to understand. You know, it's a mix. And sometimes you have a group. You know, when you are studying, I have this group. So needs to define just who our users are. So user segmentation helps us to understand user needs better by dividing the entire audience into a small group of people who share the audience, share the needs. So audience segmentation based on the demographic, gender, age, education level, mature status, and the income. If you are married or not, there will be a difference. So this is the one you categorize. So psychographics often correlate strongly with a demographic. People are the same group, same location, income level, often and similar attributes. I think in Malaysia also, you know that in Malaysia there is a big area, something like Selangor. Have you been to Selangor, Kelantan? You know the state. Like in Indonesia, like Surabaya, Jakarta, and also the different people. I think one of the Indonesia in Malaysia informed me, in Surabaya and Jakarta is two different things, and also the Jakarta and Medan also, and even the language also different. Is that true? That is also the background of the individual. Although you are in the same like Malaysia also, we are in the same Malaysia. Even me, I'm from the south, and some of my friends in the north, but the communication is something is different, and sometimes we think also different. So everyone, that means this is the things. Do you want to have a break because you look so sleepy? Do you want to have a 5 minute break? The user experience is a bit dry, but do you want to have a 5 minute break?
No, doctor. I think we can continue.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Okay, market in the user needs. By a user researcher, you collect the data to develop and understand the product. This is the one. Market in user needs. So data collection based on the survey, interview, or focus group. What do you mean of focus group? They have that means focus group. They want to target only government or only the youngsters, only on the university student. That is the focus group. So user tests work with a finished product either in the preparation to redesign it or root out the usability issues before the launch. So this is the one the user tests when they finish the products, and if you're required to redesign it and make it a usability before it launch. So although it's launched, sometimes they will ask you, is there any problem? So the user can answer it, can give a feedback. Sometimes I give a feedback. Different depends on my mood. Sometimes if I have a good mood, I will critique it. If I'm too busy, I say, oh, it's okay. To me, it's just perfect. So that's the market in the user needs. So another one is the scope of the plane. User needs the product objective into the specific requirements for what the content and functionality the product will offer the user. So functionality and the content, why are we making this product? What are we going to make? This is the content. Defining the requirement. Requirement apply only on the specific features. So whatever the design we are designing for. So we are designing the device itself. What are the features that we'll need to take into the account hardware requirements? So if the device has the camera, GPS, what are the considerations of your functional possibility? For example, if you want to buy a simple handphone, you know, iPhone, now is what version 12, is it, or 13? I13, I12, 12, is it? 13, yeah. So now it's 13. So if you want to buy a handphone, what you will go? To a specific. So if you what is the user need? The user need camera, because last time the camera is the difficult. Currently, when I have the iPhone 12 now, is the camera is only 3, is it? The pixel is 3. That means the pixel is getting better. So it depends on the user. So when you want to buy a handphone, you will see the functionality. Is that true? You will to show. Is some only, then after that, you will pick the features, the color. I know that there is iPhone come out with the pink color, but it's a bit expensive rather than the black and silver. So that is the part. So before the user want to buy, they will look into the features. So everyone will look, and you start to do the comparison. Not then Firstly, you find the features. I don't know. For me, features, then money, then the money, whether I'm affordable or not. So this is my target. So that means is my target is only 3,000. This is the features. Oh, actually it's lesser. That means we have to find a lesser features. Maybe I think I need a camera. So you start priority yourself. Which one that you want in the handphone? Camera, GPS. Confirm you need a GPS. But last time when I have when I start 1994 or 1995, I can't remember. The first handphone come out, a very big Motorola. It's very big and Motorola is very huge. Then after that, they come out a smaller Nokia. The Nokia handphone, and now it's more on the technology. Do you know that the Nokia is only call in and call out? Then come out. Then after that, I'm a bit late about the technology. So then I learned about the Samsung is 2008. No, the iPhone i3, 2008. When I in UK, then I start buying the iPhone. So that is the technologies. Why people are changing, because the handphone is very heavy last time. They make it smaller, and now in Samsung there is a flip. You know the flip. That means it's a more people they can ride it. So Samsung also have a notes everything. I'm not sure about the. I know that iPad also the computers. What are the features required? So this is the one, functional specification. Be positive. Instead, they describe a bad things the system should do. Describe what it will do to prevent the bad things happen. For example, instead of, the system will not allow the user to purchase a card without a card string. But it will be a better, the system will direct the user to the card string page if the user try to buy a card without a string. You know, they're two different sentence. So this is the two different sentences can motivate the user. This is how the motivation of the user. So be specific. Can determine whether the requirements has been fulfilled. Compare this example. The most popular video have been highlighted. The second one, videos with the most views in the last week will appear at the top of the list. So can you know the two different? When you when you mention that the most people videos will be highlighted, which one? Even the student, when the student when come to me, then I will ask which one? What do you mean? What do you understand? Sometimes sometimes when we as students, I've been to student before, we expect the lecturers understand what are the student all about. Same thing like here. When you are develop something, you expect that the user understand the programmer thing. This is the programmer thing, and you expect the user understand. This is the one. So this one, the content requirement referring to the text. But image, audio or video can be more important than accompany the text. Sometimes with the high-tech technologies, with a computer, sometimes people are using the images, audio, and the video. So identify all the content types associated with a features can help you determine what resources that need to the product. So this is the one. What are the, when you are working, later you will be graduated another 1 year, is it? Or another 6 months? 1 year? You will be graduated soon. So this is what you have to, when you are working, you have to tell your boss what are the priorities of the objective that you want to highlight. Sometimes the objective can be multiple places. So sometimes this is the idea, this is the objective, or the objective maybe the first one can appear to the last one, and the first one can be appear this one. So can be repeated. So sometimes the strategy objective will result on the multiple requirements. In other case, one requirement can serve a multiple objective on the right. So when you are working, that means although you are fresh graduate, that means you can ask, what do you mean of objective? Because you already touched about the HIMSI a little bit. So the structure plan. The interaction design describes possible user behavior, defining how the system will accommodate and respond. So the side, front, or back, and every page had the bottom page number, interface element to the user, turn the page. You know, sometimes they have a turn the page, the numbering. Turn the page to the next, and next. Okay, this is very important, error handling. So dealing with the user error. So what does the system do when the people make mistake? So are you want to say refresh or go to the back? Sometimes go to the back is a good way. What can the system do to prevent those mistakes from happening in the first place? So do you know that when you want to do the online banking, sometimes you put the wrong password or you want to transfer to the wrong account. But when you go to back, straight away the screen is totally kick you out. But there is a button that said, oh, you can remove it, everything. You can delete it. There is a, if you want to transfer, they will ask you whether it's confirmed or not. Yes or no. That means it's yes, then you proceed. If no, it's no. There is a go on the transfer. So sometimes I sometimes also the user also, for me, sometimes I careless. I did not see the yes or no. I just put back and we kick you out. But actually for the banking is good because they are very, very security tie up. As a user, I'm happy because you cannot go refreshing to the back. So each layer of the error handling in your interaction design ensure that highlight percentage of user we have a positive experience. This you want. So when you are working, you need to have everything is green. You try to reduce your user error. That's why I know this is your programming class. Do much error that you want because you as a student. So if you say, I want to develop a website using the selling the books, just a website. So this is the time for you to develop and to do whatever you want. Because in reality, when you are start working, it's difficult for you to make an error because it's not impact you, it's impact the company, the money, and so the people. So skeleton design. So interface design is familiar realms of the buttons, field, and other interface components. But the information product have a unique set of the problems of their own. So navigate design or specific form of the interface design. Tailor presentation, the information space, and information design is presented information of the communication space. So for example, this is your website. So you want design UX, something like this, or something like this, the information, or something like this. Or how you want to information, or you want to information just a little bit below, and this is the video and the audio. So this is the design. So sometimes you want to optimize your design. Although you learn the optimization that I mentioned in the AI, but you also can apply it inside your website. This is the one. So how is the design looks like? So this is the one. Interface design is all the selections of interface element for the task of user is trying to accomplish and arranging them on the screen. In the way of the readable, understood, and easy to use. Successful interface for those in the which user immediate notice the important stuff. So if you're a successful interface, you will remember. That's why when you are in the Lazada And Shopee, you can still remember the design. Unimportant stuff, on the other hand, does not get noticed. So new technologies sometimes bring the need to re-examine the existing conversation. User experience design continue to seek out the new conversation for the technology, such as the screen design and suggested design. And for your information, my screen now is a touch screen. But when I noticed that, it's difficult to maintain it when you are do a touch screen, because when you are do a touch screen, the high technology is really is very expensive to, if the screen is something problem. And before that also I have a touch screen, the desktop. To repair it is around 1,000 plus only for the monitor. So 1,000 Malaysian ringgit, yeah, it's very expensive. So this the one, the user experience design. We want to make it a touch screen, but actually to maintain it is difficult. That is the user choice. We want to do it. That's why the touch, the screen also we have two. One a touch screen, one is the normal screen. So it depends on the user what they want. So this is the one design. Interface design. What are the checkbox? Allow the user to select option independence to another. Radio button, a user to select one option as amount. And the text field, allow. So sometimes when you write, you text enter. What happened? There's sometimes when you enter, the text is going to up. It's not to enter to go to the next step. It happened to me also. I think everyone have the same things. So drop down list provide a same function as a radio button. More space. List box, you can choose more than that. So which one? So action buttons. This is the one, the action buttons. Action to make a perform. So when you are designing, what are the suitable for you and the user? So surface design, how you want to make sure that your user can feel the smell and taste. Strong associate with a smell like a new car smell. So everyone have a car. Do you know the fragrance? It smell like like a rose. So that is how you sell it, because people cannot smell through the computer. So how you want to product the fragrance? The smell of the fragrance is like rose. I think a lot of the now shopping online for the perfume, everything. So you cannot test it, and you also cannot taste it. So the taste is something like good. And sometimes what you do, you go to the review. So whatever product that you want to sell, make sure you have a review, so that people can see the review. So the touch, the user physical engagement with the product. Order online, how the you want to sell the product using the touch. For example, the mouse can show that the hand, how to grip the hand, how the structure of the mouse. Hearing, sound plays of the role of the experience of many kind, the thing of the different buzz and buzzer. So you know that when you handphone, when you are in the bus or LRT, the sound of Samsung is an Apple is similar. So when you hear the sound, you know, oh, this is Samsung. When you hear the sound, this is the Apple phone. So you can know that. So also the hearing on the seatbelt, the design on the seatbelt. So in the car also, when you did not fasten your seatbelt, it will be blinking. Yeah, and make a very big noise, because it shows that the seatbelt is very important. And another things, nowadays the car, I always put my things at beside. So all my handbags, you know, the ladies, the handbag is quite heavy. So when I drive in the right, then I put all my items in the left. So also they think that someone is sitting next to me. So they are start blinking unfasted. So I have to move my handbag a bit in front, you know. Sometimes they are something like that, the sound, the hearing. Actually, it's good for the safety, but sometimes it's very annoying. But that is the safety part. So on the surface design, brand identified comes across the many ways in the interaction design functionality. Brand identified the visual design. So when you, example of using the comic books. So when you see the Spider-Man, you can imagine that Spider-Man is red, wearing a spider suit. So that is the brand identity. Sometimes when you want to buy a comic, also you know that this is the comic that you are looking. And there is a famous like LV, Louis Vuitton. So the Louis Vuitton handbag, they know that is LV is Louis Vuitton. Fendi is Fendi, Fendi. So the pastel color probably is in the right choice because of the normal colors. So this the one. This is I write up. What are the user experience and website examples? Surface plan. What are the images and the text? Images on the shopping chart. So like I mentioned earlier, when you also the shopping chart, you know that there is the shopping chart. Skeleton plane. Place the button, block the text, optimize the arrangement of the effective and efficient. Remember that the logo can find the shopping cart easier. So if you know that here, when you have a website, the shopping cart where? Always at the bottom. So this is how you design it. So the structure plan, the arrangement or navigate along the categories. So in the structure, you have to categorize your items. Scope, enable user to save the previous one. You know, the scope allow the user to save the previous shipping address. Example, the strategy, user want to buy a product, then we want to sell it, advertise the content and the business model. Okay, this is what I did for the user experience for my research. So I want to relate what you understand about your KCI and about the research. I did the application. This is my master student. Application on the rehabilitation. You know that rehabilitation, I think is you in the class machine learning, I show about the rehabilitation, how they enable people. So healthcare sector is one of the crucial sectors that is being a worldwide topic in the growth of the technologies. So rehabilitation, one of the vital fields or the healthcare sectors to contribute to sustain the both people with a disability on society. So if you are working with a disabled people, actually it's very interesting, and actually they don't want, especially they don't want to get accident, you know, they don't want to get stroke. But unfortunately, if they are healthy person, and sometimes after in one day they will become rehab because of the accident of the stroke. Sometimes they are really demotivated and how they want to build up their life again. So that's why we have like a training everything for disabled. So who has discussed the rehabilitation in which can define a series of steps and help to achieve and sustain the optimal functionality to contact with a person who experience. So there is a step how to make the rehabilitation recover. The old profession, the old times, they are using a normal exercise. They are going to the gym. But currently, we are going to the technologies. That's why we are calling the assistive technology tools. Embedded into the rehab field and attempt to increase the quality of recovery. Is technology used by individuals with disability in order to perform the function might otherwise be difficult or impossible. So can include the mobility device as a walker, wheelchair, using the hardware, software, and parallel. There is one research, they're using the brain. for the wheelchair. That's mean they're using the you know that I teach you about the neural network last time. I just touched a little bit about neural network. Do you know that our brain, there is a neuron? So sometimes when we are moving, when we are talking, we are moving, actually our brain is working. So they are using the brain to wheelchair. So that means the wheelchair, they are wheelchair to left or right using the brain. But it's not that too successful. It's something like around 60%. Because when you are rehab, if you cannot use for the stroke people, but if you are accident, you can use it because you have a normal, your brain is still function. But if you are stroke, it's something like it will go through your cognitive everything. That's the one. This the one, the wheelchair. One example of assisted, this the one, wheelchair, using the brain. And how about the blind people using the keyboard? They have the brailles. And how about the hearing? They are using these tools. Yeah. So this is the one. Actually, if you can contribute to the rehab, really interesting. So rehabilitation in the serious game. So serious game is a combine of digital gaming, physical exercise, which give the user experience to help to self-monitoring while doing the therapist exercise rehab. So serious games are increasing user health promotion. So do you know that popularity, the use of the serious game help the program in the society? Okay, as a normal, if I'm doing a lecture, just reading the text, do you think it's boring? It's quite boring. But same thing like them. If they are rehab, you just give them playing the exercise like build up the strength, everything. It will be bored. So they try to make it a fun game on the rehabilitation. This is what people are calling the serious game. So the important to restore the health to originate with a slow process as the rehab and action to assisting someone to stay healthy based on occupational and cognitive, physical and cognitive. So this is the case study. Serious game build interaction of the human computer, robotic, visual reality, and simulation. It's a real case study we did in the rehabilitation to show that whether KCI, how the rehab interact with all this case study. So the simulation. Simulator is a realities intimate the control and operation any complex. So it's the computer program is enabled to execute the programs written on the different OS. Technologies today is a level of maturity, affordability, and simulation based on the guaranteed effective knowledge. So the simulation program are great potential to increase the user. So this is the one, simulation game. Is helping to increase the self-motivation and the driving simulation. So when we did a testing, we asked the patient to use, there is any pictures. This is the one. They are using the simulation with the car. And this is the people is driving the car. You know, there is a big, the rehab people are always driving. So when they are first time using a simulation, they are scared. There is a really simulation, there is a temperature, how many degrees, but the simulation is automatic. This is their brake. Their brake at the left hand side. So they don't have a brake like us, the hand, everything at the left hand side. So the car simulation is one of the simulation drive used for the assessment and training rehabilitation. So it's helpful for adults who have suffered as a stroke and frustrated. They are loose and independent to drive. So this is the one, the medium of the training to evaluating the individual with high risk and everybody. So significant using the car simulation is rehab beside the assessment is to help people for the disability. You know, in the rehabilitation that we went to the center, after they test it, they have a car, the rehab car. So all this, after they have a simulation, they will drive. There is a small like a track for the rehabilitation to drive. So after a while, they can drive it again, but with a rehab features, but a bit slow. That's why sometimes when you want to drive, there is icon that this car is disabled. So please do not horn the car, or if the car is slow, please, because they are really rehab. Because sometimes when you are horn, sometimes when they do a simulation, there is horn, they got panic. You know, they go left and right. Even sometimes there are in the simulation, there is suddenly people are crossing the road, and this person is panic, say, hey, crossing, someone is crossing, and they did not know how to brake, and every time will be divert to another side. So also the simulation also there is a point how many that you are driving fast. And also the traffic light. So some people cannot measure the traffic light. You say, hey, should I stop now? Should I stop now? They are not confident enough for the rehab people. But it's very interesting study. And robotic also. Robotic is a technology are now a part of rehabilitation process or daily living. You know that when you are robot, when you are rehab, you are doing robot is better. The interactive robot and expect to have increase of importance in society for the developing countries. So robotic in the serious game for the rehabilitation is used to facilitate the transfer, multiplayer healthy gaming for the robot, and interaction system of the human environment, participant of the robots. Daily life and contribute when it become one of the rehabilitation tools. What it means of robot, this is the one. They are playing the games. That means this is the robot and this is the game. I think after this slide, we have a real robotics. Robot device is at one of the rehabilitation tools that can offer patient with a various type of feedback and learning process in different levels, studying to show the advantage of the robot aid device technologies on the rehab technologies, perceive the reliable, interactive, and meet the user satisfaction. So user love doing the robotics rather than manual because the manual is quite boring. So another part is visuality. You know the visuality, I also show you about the Myra one. So visuality is a serial game on the facilitate on the programming environment. At the same time, they encourage them. So visual reality is used for a rehab purpose for overcome the disability resulting on the brain injury. So rehabilitation to improve the patient outcome. So this is the one, the Myra. You know, this is visual reality. I think I show you how to play the game. So about the user experience. User experience in the field of study, the user to identify and find a different concept, various type of background, diversity, and existing consistence. So on the user experience, according to a multiple group, they have a multiple group. Later I can show you, not all the group can play all the game. So it summarizes a consequence of the user, internal state and characteristic of the design system. So user experience is the quality of interaction participants. So in the user experience, we are target the usability, how the usability of the rehab using the system. So usability is a software quality criteria. So it's belonging to a non-functional requirement that define how user learns and use the products. product, system, service to fulfill their objective and satisfaction. Usability is an important indicator to measure the interactive user with the serious game. How the usability of the game. So serious game is mainly aimed to help the user gaining their ability during the therapy session. So in the usability, this is the variables that we are looking at. The efficiency, learnability, satisfaction, error, and memorable. So a part of usability is to include all the user feedbacks, emotional, belief, preference, behaviors. That means what are they are using, whether they are consistently measure the degree interactive of the system. So this is the one, they are using effectiveness. This is the attributes. So if you have to create the system, you know that just now, errors, effective, related to productivity of the system, satisfaction, whether the user is satisfied also using the system. Memorable, can return to the previous state, not from the beginning. Learn, how they learn and how they should be less and be a recovery. So another part from the usability is motivation. How you want to motivate? Because if the rehabilitation people, you need them to motivate. You know, when you are dealing with rehab, if they don't want to use it, your system, they don't want to use it. Because they are someone need to motivate them. So that means you have the attention, relevance, confidence, and satisfaction to keep them update, to keep them to deliver, because to motivate them to improve it. So this is the one, the serious game, users experience, and this is all the factors are using. So if you want to use this user experience, maybe you can use all these factors can help you. So this is what I mean. Experiment of the sample. Sample will be a stroke, amputee of the simulation, stroke and signal cord injury with a brain. And the visuality, you have a 1, 2, and 3. But this is the one characteristic of all sample that can sit to stand, understand English, and choose the patient is chosen by the therapist. So not back to the slide earlier, like I mentioned, not all user can use this application. Remember that in the earlier slide, the users, that means not all users that you can satisfy, but this also, this the part. So this the one, simulation. The simulation is a driving car to aim the patient focus. What the simulation can do for the rehab, patient focus and attention while driving. But it's not suitable for a trauma brain because they have a cognitive problem. Cognitive, the brain problem, and it's difficult for them to playing. So in the physical therapy needs a lot of movement. Why they are cognitive problem? Because when you are driving, you have to be alert. That means there is a car behind, the traffic light, everything. So the robotic is focused to sit to stand and the walking exercise. And the diagnosis who will consider back to work. That means this is the robotic will need you to go to the work. Start working without the with or without the walking aid. They also can based on the robotic more on the nail. The visual reality is made by all patients to play. It's not necessary for the empathy, but cannot but do not have the cognitive impairment. So it's made for the all patients. So if you want to do something about the rehab game, this is the one. The visual reality can capture most of the patient diagnosis. So this is the one. I have the game. This is the robotic that we are doing. We are interview. This is the one we are interview, and this is the one, the visual reality. And surprisingly, the most of the people love the simulation. Because what? Because they are driving by, most people, but not all the patient can play simulation. When we are studying, the patient love simulation because of the diagnosis is suitable for them. But if they have a cognitive problem, they cannot use the simulation. So this is the maybe they this is the one. So we did an interview. This is our questions. Usability is of use, understand the instructions, easy to follow, repeated movement, purpose of the movement shows. So it's fine to learn movement. Is it easy learning the movement, applications, and adapt the applications? So this one, certified the colors. Also, application use in appropriate design. You remember that I mentioned about the design, the colors, everything is already related. Certified with the application is simple. Comfort with application, minimal error. Information is clear, and overall application is good. Based on the memorable items, can understand clearly the instruction. Remember every step instruction. Sometimes it can remember the instruction and easy to remember. Seize the one, attention. How the attention of the users. Pay attention to instruction of the game. Movement while playing. Design the playing. Colors used. Less distraction of music. Because they need 15 to 30 minutes. The movement focusing on the side of the hearing. So is the relevant? What are the relationship between the playing the game with your daily life? So every time when you are declaring something for the rehab, make sure it's related to them. If not, they don't want to playing. Clear instruction, set a new goal, and content of the game is suitable, boost of the interest. So on the motivation, they also have a question, confident. What are the final score? That means they have a game. What are the excited that can do the movement? I can understand the scoring result. So this is the scoring to motivate you. Even me also, when I playing the game, I want to see the scoring. So release the complete game. Sense of confidence level, can do better. Maintain the motivation and the game continuous. So this is how they ranking. Patient will choose the most favorable game according to their satisfaction. So attention is more on the stay focused, and this is the how they ranking, the renewable from all the question. Playing is one of the therapy method, so the things are feel enjoyable. So actually, is satisfaction is the first things that satisfy the patient, satisfaction of the usability. So this means the patient choose the preferable game according to their satisfaction that can motivate them to improve. So from the interview, give me a great experience to work hard to reach the target, because there is a target. So I gain my confidence to work while playing all the games. By playing the games, it helped me to the more focus. This is using the robotic, visuality, robotics, and this the one, simulation. To have a confidence to drive in my condition. So this is the one you see the menu. When I ask the physiotherapy about the menu, the medical doctors, although you say this is I think I show you in the machine learning. This is very good, quite good, represent on the AI, but they don't like it because of what? Because of the color. And there is no icon. And what do you mean of this part? For us, it's warning. You know, this is red warning. It said it's something like, oh no, I don't like the finger. I don't like also the picture. It's something like they prefer it more on the warning side, like a red color, everything. So there is no logo, although you are doing a very good AI in this part, you can predict everything, but the medical doctor said I prefer it, I think you saw this video before, so it's more on the logos, everything. I think that's all my slide. Okay, there is a chat. I believe you only have 5 minutes. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. So that's
Okay.
the guest lecture for today. Thank you so much for Dr. Waidah for sharing your knowledge and also experiences. Before we so since we only have about 4 minutes left.
4 minutes, sorry.
Before the class end, so I think we can skip the Q&A session. Or if you guys have any question that you want to ask, you can just type it down on the chat section, or you can raise your hand if you have any question. But before that, I would like to invite Ms. Purbandini, if you have something to say regarding to our guest lecture today. Is Ms. Purbandini here? Hello, Budini. Oh yeah. Okay. Ya masih
mute.
Yes.
Ya sudah.
Yeah. Hello, Miss Waidah.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm great.
Maybe is I don't talk about this in my lecture about the topic is apa ya, sebagian besar itu ke IMK ya, kalau nggak salah itu teman-teman mahasiswa ya kayak gitu. Tapi nggak apa-apa, di sini apa namanya, mata kuliah ini itu memang umum ya. Tadi salah satu aplikasinya itu adalah mobile ya, di mana apa namanya, aplikasinya ini itu dapat diterapkan ya. Jadi sebelum ke mobile itu biasanya melalui istilahnya desain ya, desain. Yes, desainnya itu ke apa namanya, ke tentang ininya apa, Android ya, ke Androidnya gitu. Mungkin itu ya, saya nggak terlalu banyak.
Yeah, I'm sorry Sanya, you all tak dapat tanya soalan. We cannot ask the question. I'm so sorry. I drag the time.
It's no problem.
Anything you can email me if there is any questions on the designing or anything.
Okay.
How do you find the lectures, the student? Is that interesting or anything? Comment?
I think it's interesting. Oke, Halim mungkin diarahkan ke teman-temannya.
Okay. Thank you, Budini, for the words to Dr. Waidah. Okay, so I think the guest lecture was very interesting. We have learned a lot about human and computer interaction, and I did write something about our lecture today. So in the very beginning, Dr. Waidah already said to us that even when you are good at programming, you gotta know what your user need. So in this case, for all of us in this mobile programming class, we have to understand how to create a good interaction, how to create a good interface for our users, not only in the programming side, but also in the interface and how the user interact to our application or maybe our devices that we will create in the future. So I think that's it. That's the one thing that I write down. But I also write down a lot more, and I believe you guys have also write a lot of things about today's lecture. And as Dr. Waidah already mentioned, you can ask her questions if you have any question. Maybe Dr. Waidah, would you like to write down your email in the chat session? Sure. Okay, and also, what is it?
If you are interested to continue master with, you are welcome.
Yeah, for anyone who are interested for the master. Okay, thank you, Dr. Waidah. Okay. And before we end our meeting, I would like to invite everyone to open up their camera for the photo session just before we end our class, just maybe around 1 to 90 seconds, just to open up your cameras, take a picture, and then we're going to have a break.
Can you send the picture later to Pak Hendra, because Pak Hendra has my handphone number.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, I see some people already open up their camera. I see Bintang smiling happily in front of camera. I see everyone here.
Yeah.
Okay. For the committee who are in charge of the photo session, time is yours.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna be taking your picture. Our picture in count of 3.
Okay.
Please be ready. On the count of 3, start now. 1, 2, 3. Okay. One more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's great. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Nice audience.
Maybe give.
Okay, if there is any question, you can email me.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Waidah.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Waidah. So for everyone, we will drop the link for the certificate on the chat Zoom. So yeah, you can fill the link in order to get the certificate for today's guest lecture. And once again, thank you so much to Dr. Waidah and also to Dini. Thank you so much for attending our guest lecture, and see you on the next guest lecture. My name is Halim, and thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And wait. We also have something to present to Dr. Waidah. I almost forgot. The committee. Would you like to help me? Okay, here we go. Almost forgot.
That's good.
Yeah, we have a certificate of appreciation for your guest lecture today. So for the committee and also Budini, maybe we can take like a little picture as a memory that we already attend this event. For the committee,
Okay, I'm gonna be taking this picture in count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's great. Thank you, Miss Waidah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. I almost forgot about the
It's okay. Okay, bye-bye. Nice meeting you for the next guest lecture.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, Dr. Waidah.
Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Waidah. Thank you, Budini.
Oke, makasih deh.